Well, greetings, B3 Burner here, and what I have for you today is a story about Crown Victoria and the window tinting that I had done. That was my July project. A brief history on that is that I had 3 projects I want to get done, and that is the first of 3, the other 2 being stereo and maybe fog lights. The third one remains to be seen. I'm going to go through the various processes, tinting, the purpose of which, an explanation of the percentages, my choices for the front and the rear, as well as my original concern, followed by my final determination, and we'll do a comparison outside, inside, and then I'll let you see what it looks like outside, inside with the windows rolled halfway down. And I'll give you a brief one-sentence conclusion at the end. Window tinting serves 3 purposes. 1, protection from brightness, glare, and UV rays. 2, protection from the heat, infrared, if you have heat ceramic tinting or layer added to the tint itself. And 3, privacy for yourself and security to protect objects that are inside from looky-loos and other people who would otherwise be interested in maybe breaking in and stealing something. So a quick explanation, when people talk about tint percentage, it's actually the percentage of light emitted through the window. In other words, light allowed to pass. It is not the percentage of the tint. The numbering system is actually the opposite of what you might think. Though everyone calls it tint percentage, just know it's technically the opposite. So when someone says 5% tint, they mean that the windows are tinted 95% of the way, and that only 5% of the light is allowed to pass through. So think low percentages darker, high percentages lighter. Let's look at what I've done. My choices: front windshield, none. Why, you ask? Because here in California, and probably most other places, it is illegal to tint the front window, except I think an 8-inch wide strip across the top of the glass where it meets the roof line. You can go as dark as 5%, I think, certainly 20%, but I think you can go as low as 5% across here, from here down about 8 inches and all the way across, so long as it absolutely doesn't go any deeper than that. And actually, the more I think about it, 8 seems like an awful lot. It might be 5 or 6. Again, you want to check with your local authorities on that before you go and have it done, or ask the window tint shop yourself. They should know. They service and work on the stuff. Now, regarding the front window or windshield, I could have gotten clear 100% ceramic as a heat resistant for the front windshield, but the guy doing it warned me that if I were to get a chip in the windshield, the glass repair place wouldn't be able to inject the repair resin with the clear tint in the way, because you install it on the inside. And the resin, I think, is injected on the inside. Moving to the front side window, and the front windows have been done up in 38% tint, 38% emittance, 62% tint. And as you can see, you see a good deal of the reflection of me and my camera and my tripod, but if you look carefully, I think you can probably see my water bottle inside in the console. To clarify, well, there it is through the front window. Or windshield. If I say front window, I mean windshield. So that's 38%. Now let's see 38% from the left side, just so we compare apples to apples over here. And that's 38% on the driver's side. It's technically illegal to tint the front side windows lower than 86%, but 86% is practically clear, and that's actually factory tint on cars today. So in other words, it's a joke. You wouldn't go to a window tint shop and spend $200-300 in addition with everything to just have your windows tinted 86%. Why even bother? Everyone can get away with down to 50%, and at 38%, mine is just starting to look noticeably tinted, and only those who go 20% or below on the front side windows are starting to get risky. What's more, it seems strange, but out here in the Central Valley, more specifically Stanislaus County, Modesto, Oakdale, window tinting violations are not enforced unless it's in conjunction with something else that the police officer has pulled the person over for. And I see lots of people driving around with 5% tint on the fronts, on the sides and rear, and some people, it looks darn well like they have 5 or 10% on the front windshield, which I would never risk. Fact is, most people in my area have way darker tint than mine, so the general rule of thumb is when you don't stick out in the crowd, out in the herd, you're more likely to get away with it if you play it slightly conservative, as I have here. So now that we've seen what 38% looks like, let's go to the back and have a look at 5. Now, looking at the two of them side by side, with the B pillar sort of splitting your A-B choiceage, let me ask you this. Can you really see a difference? The difference is, with the 38%, you should be able to see through to the other side and slightly see the steering wheel. With the rear window, you can't see through to the opposite window, and I dare say you can't see in it at all. All you're getting is a good reflection of me, my camera, and my tripod. And that's the whole idea. And same goes for the rear window, but we'll discuss the rear window in depth in just a little bit. Side back windows, 5%. For the record, this is perfectly legal in California, but may not be in other states. Tint laws can change locally, not just from state to state, but even county to county or municipal city to city. So always check your local laws before venturing out on a tinting project. There's nothing worse than paying upwards of $300 to $500 for a professional tint job, only to have to scrape it off with an X-Acto knife in front of the cop that just pulled you over. Not very much fun. Let's discuss rear window tinting and the third mount brake light. Starting in 1986, all cars sold in North America were required to have what we called the high mount. A lot of people thought it looked stupid. They said, not another thing in the name of safety. Come on. Ralph Nader's at it again. Ralph Nader and his henchmen. Well, if it prevents rear end collisions, I'm all for it. And a lot of people, when they tint, want to cover up. Oh man, they want to smoke the tail lights, they want to smoke the headlights, they want to smoke the turn signals. I mean, put that gray film over it. And they want to tint the high mount. I'm not really into that, and I'm going to keep the camera rolling and I'm just gonna step on it. In illuminating the third brake light, you saw that compared to the rest of the window in heavy tint, it stuck out like a sore thumb, right? Well, I wanted it that way. I had them cut around the brake light to leave it clear and untinted on purpose in the rear window so that in the daytime I don't want there to be a lack of visibility and people not being able to see it, to risk possibly contributing to a rear end collision where I could be partially found at fault. For litigational purposes, I prefer to make that totally visible. Now let's discuss my original concern as we walk around the car. My original concern was that there was sort of an A to B, B to A relationship between seeing out and seeing in, and that I was only going to be able to see out the windows as well as other people could see in. Obviously, I thought, well, I don't know, lots of people do this, but I'm not sure I feel real good about it, but all right, I'll put my ducats down and hope to God I don't regret this. And if I have a little bit more challenge than I thought seeing, maybe I'll find a workaround or just learn to get used to it. Okay, now we're inside the car. Let's put it in its proper perspective. Now, bear in mind that the constantly adjusting auto iris is going to change the darkness. So it's only as accurate as you can imagine it to be. This is the view out the front window, front windshield. This is the view out the passenger window. Notice the difference in tint. Barely notice it. It's amazing. As dark as it seemed from the outside, you know, you can clearly see out the windows. You can clearly see any cars through the left side view mirror coming up on you, right side view mirror coming up on you, and even the rear window. You just get a big old reflection of me. I'm sorry about that. I forgot I was going to do that. Now, let's go to the 5% window. There's my tripod. I left it outside. And compare 38, if I can get over the headrest, 38% to 5. That's 38 on the left, 5% on the right and the rear. I can see out it no problem. And again, the iris of the camera might be adjusting to compensate. Left rear and left front. So as you can see, the moral of the story is, to sort of conclude daytime usage, the front side 38s, no problem at all, day or night, easy, easy. Rear side and back 5s, a little darker in the daytime, slightly noticeable, probably more so to me with my brain adjusting my own personal iris as opposed to the camera's iris. It's a little darker in the daytime, but still not an issue. However, the rears are moderately challenging at night. Nighttime, you do have to be careful. Backing up can be risky at night. Driving forward, a little bit easier. But backing up is always more risky than driving forward, even if you don't have window tinting, right? All right, so next, I'm gonna let you see the difference between no tinting and this tinting by rolling the windows halfway down. Well, any self-respecting window tinter who spent good money to look cool wouldn't blow it by rolling the windows halfway down to sort of defeat the purpose, but we're going to do it just so you can get a sense of the difference between clear and being able to see through it versus not. And actually, the near window isn't all that telling, but if you can see it, try to zoom in, the far window, the driver's side window, is much more telling. That color tint versus the tint above it. Now let's do the rear window and you will see big difference. Not only right over here, but clearly across the way where the left rear passenger would be sitting. So I can't roll the roll the rear window down, so no point there, except I need to pass through to get to the left side of the car. And again, same thing, not much of a difference. Well, the problem is the interior is dark anyway, so you can't, in the foreground, you can't really tell. The windows look brighter with my reflection than the background does interior, but where you really see the difference is on the opposite opposing window. The difference in the tint of the window halfway up and the opening where you can see the wrought iron gate for this business in the background. And we will go to finally the driver's front side, and you will see again the difference in the tinting up front and the tinting across on the opposite side, the front passenger side window. In conclusion, I would recommend window tinting to anyone who hasn't already done it. For me personally, I don't know why I waited so long. I'm the B3 Burner, and you have yourself a nice day.